What guy on this team would you least like to date your sister?
What the hell? Diggs.
Why Diggs?
Man, no. We're going to leave it like that. No.
The New England brass finally caught wind of the heavy allegations hanging over Stefon Diggs' head. Initially, the organization shielded their top-tier wideout, but that loyalty came with a very clear and abrupt shelf life. Now Diggs is staring down a felony strangulation rap, getting his walking papers and posting a cryptic farewell on the gram all at once. We aren't just talking about a career on life support. We are digging into a total collapse that will leave you absolutely floored. One phrase shattered his reality felony strangulation charge. That single legal bombshell flipped the script on his entire future and changed every single thing. This isn't some slap on the wrist, league fine, or a short benching. The state of Massachusetts is playing for keeps with actual jail time if convicted. This nightmare didn't kick off in a courtroom, but in a quiet bedroom over a nasty fight regarding some missing paychecks and unpaid labor. Flashback to July 2025. Diggs brings on a live-in culinary expert at his Dedham estate to handle the kitchen and live on-site full-time. The arrangement seemed rock solid until November 2025, when the vibe turned sour over a massive pay dispute and missing wages. She alleged she was stiffed for an entire month, and the paper trail of texts shows Diggs straight up shutting her down and refusing. Law enforcement files reveal his digital paper trail featuring icy texts, where he basically tells her she isn't getting a single cent of what she's owed. He was already funding another cook, while she called the household environment a total circus. Then things turned violent on December 2nd, when he entered her bedroom. After a heated back and forth, her statement claims he lost his cool and delivered a sharp, painful blow right across her face. As she tried to defend herself, he allegedly hooked his arm around her throat, squeezing until the air completely left her lungs and she gasped. She described a terrifying moment where the lights started fading, yet he only clamped down harder as she struggled to break free from his grip. After shoving her onto the mattress, he stared her down with a chilling thought, so then dismissed her desperate plea for wages with a brutal lies before exiting. She bolted that day but swung back on December 9th for her gear, only to be told she'd need to sign a gag order to get paid. She didn't bite. Instead, she walked into the Dedham Police Department on December 16th, exactly 14 days after the alleged assault took place at the house. Fear of his massive NFL platform and legal war chest kept her quiet initially, as she wasn't looking to burn his life down with formal charges. Everything shifted on December 23rd when she started getting pings she suspected were coming directly from the star receiver's girlfriend. Those digital breadcrumbs made it clear that his inner circle was fully aware she had already spoken with the authorities about the situation. That was the final straw, leading the Dedham precinct to greenlight a formal criminal complaint on December 29, 2025. The legal weight is massive, as he's officially staring down a heavy felony charge for strangulation alongside a misdemeanor count for battery, turning this into a nightmare. His day in court was penned for January 2026, right on the doorstep of the massive AFC Championship showdown. Rumor has it the legal system hit the pause button just so Diggs could keep suiting up for the playoff push and the championship game. The league kept him off the sidelines, allowing him to burn up the turf all the way through Super Bowl 60 while the team chased glory. Following a heartbreaking loss to Seattle, Diggs finally stood before a judge on February 13, 2026, keeping his mouth shut for the media. His lawyer entered a not guilty plea, and the judge released him on his own recognizance without requiring any bail money. Despite being free, he's barred from contacting his accuser while he awaits a pre-trial showdown scheduled for April 1, 2026. The Pat McAfee crew didn't pull any punches, dissecting the news the second the legal documents hit the public wire and the fans.
Now, Stefon Diggs, brother of Trevon Diggs of the New England Patriots, a lot of conversation this year about how much he has helped this Patriots team and how mature he's been.
That glowing reputation is exactly why this scandal hit like a freight train, completely derailing his 2025 comeback story and his public image.
Well, breaking as of today, the world is learning that he is facing strangulation and assault charges, and he's to be arraigned here a week before
the AFC Championship, January 23rd.
The organization went into damage control mode instantly, while his attorney Mitchell Schuster scrambled to put out the fire that very same afternoon. The team publicly acknowledged they were tracking the heavy legal clouds gathering over their star wide receiver's head regarding these accusations. That was the official PR-approved version, but the energy behind closed doors was shifting into something far more tense and very different. Diggs told the front office the whole thing was a fabrication, leading the team to initially throw their full weight behind him in support. His lawyer slammed the claims as baseless, arguing they were born out of a bitter pay dispute where the worker felt like she got cheated. Schuster doubled down, promising no deals and total vindication, insisting the cold, hard facts would eventually clear his client's name and lead to exoneration.
That's a lot of drama. There's a very serious allegations, and that Patriots team seemingly has everything going in the right direction.
While the chef story is brutal, Diggs had been quietly stacking up a pile of legal headaches for 2 years leading up to that night. To grasp why he's currently jobless and posting goodbyes on social media, you have to look way further back than December 2025. Look at the trail. There is a cold truth nobody dares to whisper. Stefon Diggs' own squad flagged his behavior on camera years ago. Back in a 2017 Vikings locker room, way before this storm hit, the team filmed a segment called 96 Questions. They asked every player which teammate they would absolutely hate to see dating their sister. The locker room response was almost total. It was Stefon Diggs.
What guy on this team would you least like to date your sister?
What the hell?
Diggs.
Why Diggs?
Man, no. We're going to leave it like that. No.
What guy on this team would you least like to date your sister?
Oh, Stefon Diggs.
Why Diggs?
He's crazy. He's just outrageous. Don't know what he's gonna say. Just don't know what to expect every day. So he couldn't date my sister.
What guy on this team would you least like to date your sister?
Least I should date my sister, Diggs. 100%.
Why Diggs?
Because he's not a guy that you want to bring home to your parents. Like, you don't want your sister to bring him home to your parents, so therefore she can't date him.
Erratic, untamed, a person you keep far away from your loved ones. Those were the exact descriptions used by his teammates in 2017, long before the legal wars or that dark December. That footage blew up again in late 2025 and early 2026, right as those violent strangulation allegations went viral in the news. Pundit Joe Gabrielle took his thoughts straight to X, noting that his peers warned us they'd never trust him with their family. Now the bill has finally come due. Diggs actually touched on that old video during a 2025 sit-down on the Scoop City show with Diana Russini. He watched the clip and tried to flip the script, claiming none of them were decent. Maybe Adam Thielen was okay, I guess. Good for that guy. Honestly, I'm just messing around, but big props to Adam for being a real one. He brushed it off with a smirk, turning a warning into a punchline. That was the classic Stefon Diggs play, take the pressure pivot and keep pushing forward. That charm worked for a minute, but the drama stopped being about locker room banter. It started bleeding into reality at a frighteningly high speed. His stint with the Bills ended in total disaster. While in Buffalo, Diggs fired off cryptic social media posts that everyone interpreted as direct shots at his quarterback, Josh Allen. There were massive blow-ups on the sidelines. He ditched mandatory workouts. Coach Sean McDermott even had to address the mess in front of the hungry media. By April 2024, the Bills shipped him to the Texans, eating a massive dead cap hit just to be done with him. Eventually, the tension cooled down a little bit. Allen eventually said some nice things after the trade, but the bridge-burning trend was already locked in. Then the 2025 off-season rolled around like a freight train. Diggs inked a 3-year contract with the New England Patriots for roughly $69 million. It was supposed to be a fresh city and a brand new legacy. Then, a video leaked of him on a yacht with a group of women handing off what looked like a pink crystalline narcotic. It exploded online instantly, and the backlash was deafening. The Patriots launched an internal probe. Coach Mike Vrabel claimed they had heart-to-hearts with Diggs behind closed doors, but they weren't ready to release the star just yet. No handcuffs, no formal charges, but the damage to his image was done. Then, in September 2025, a woman named Ailen Lera filed a paternity claim, stating Diggs fathered her baby girl. Diggs demanded a test. The DNA results confirmed his fatherhood. The legal battle wrapped up in January 2026 with a reported co-parenting deal, though the gossip rags had already torn his reputation to shreds. Whispers started flying about a secret romance and a child with Cardi B, which would dump even more gasoline on the fire further down the road. By October and November of 2025, a fashion creator named Christopher Blake Griffith hit Diggs with a massive civil lawsuit for his alleged toxic actions. Griffith claimed that during a 2023 charity hoops game near D.C., Diggs drugged him with tainted chocolate and carried out a horrific act of sexual battery. He further claimed that Diggs's brother, Darez Diggs, was recruited into a plot to assault Griffith as a way to bury whatever secrets the designer was holding over the family. Griffith listed a nightmare of injuries, broken bones, a torn meniscus, a serious brain injury crippling PTSD, and a long list of stolen personal belongings from the scene. Darez Diggs ultimately took a no-contest plea for a felony assault charge linked to those specific events and the victim's serious injuries. Stefon Diggs fired back with a defamation suit in October 2025, trashing Griffith's story as nothing but a total work of fiction and lies. Griffith retaliated with even more civil conspiracy claims. Both legal wars are still grinding through the courts without any sign of a final resolution anytime soon. Before the dust could even settle on those cases, December 2nd, 2025 arrived. The private chef, the bedroom, fight the elbow, and the handcuffs. By the moment the Massachusetts authorities filed that official criminal case on December 29th, his world was already caving in from every possible direction. Stefon Diggs was juggling a paternity suit, a sexual battery claim, a defamation fight, and a felony strangulation count all at once, and he was somehow still catching balls for the New England Patriots. In 2025, he caught 82 passes. He remained a weapon on the field, despite the absolute circus surrounding him, while the NFL followed its usual slow-motion playbook and just sat back to watch. No benching, no exempt list designation, and zero public confirmation that any league-wide probe into his behavior was even happening behind the scenes.
I think a lot of people were saying the NFL typically waits until the legal situation is resolved in court and everything.
However, that protective shell was about to shatter into pieces, and when the break happened, it came from within his own circle. One final case existed that never quite grabbed the headlines. In many respects, it is the most damning file of all, because it links Stefon's world to brutality in a way that dwarfs a simple money fight in a bedroom. In February 2026, just a few sunrises before Super Bowl 60, a former partner and staffer dragged Diggs into court in Miami-Dade County. The central allegation involves July 2024, when this individual organized the transport for Diggs's Ferrari from Miami to New York and Houston, only for someone to hijack the vehicle. Law enforcement validated the robbery. Though the victim faced no charges, the legal filing claims Diggs smeared him, ruining his character and commercial enterprise before the situation escalated into a series of very hostile face-offs. Diggs's associates reportedly swarmed local restaurants and the man's house, harassing him to return every single gift he ever received. January 2025, texts from Diggs allegedly read that he is fully accountable for every single person in his circle. Then, during December 2025, the same month as that chef drama, the victim was allegedly brutalized at Tootsie's Cabaret in Miami by two men from Diggs's camp, suffering a torn ACL, a damaged MCL, and severe facial trauma. The lawsuit targets Trevon Diggs, Stefon's brother, and the former Cowboys star, claiming he stood by as a witness and did absolutely nothing while the violent assault occurred. This lawsuit hits Stefon, Trevon, and Darez Diggs for defamation, civil conspiracy, vicarious liability, plus aiding and abetting a physical assault and battery. The victim wants over $100,000, but Diggs's camp has offered zero public response to these reports. While this unfolded, his social media was screaming. By March 2026, Diggs wiped his Instagram clean and ghosted the Patriots by hitting that unfollow button. No words, just a clean break, the internet version of walking out the back door. Then, on March 4, 2026, the New England Patriots dropped the hammer. Stefon Diggs got the call that he was being cut right at the start of the new league year, which officially kicked off around March 11th after just one season. Despite a $69 million investment and a deep playoff run, the front office claimed the move was strictly about the salary cap math. It wasn't the criminal charges or the legal drama, it was the books. Diggs's cap hit was skyrocketing from $10.5 million to $26.5 million, with a massive payday about to become fully locked in and guaranteed. Cutting him before that deadline saved the Patriots a fortune and gave them the financial room needed to overhaul the entire roster. Insiders noted the team wasn't burning every bridge. Word was that the Patriots were still willing to talk if Diggs accepted a much cheaper contract. The team painted it as a financial choice, not a punishment. Still, analysts weren't totally buying this clean version of events. Legal headaches were clearly the real backdrop, even if the organization refused to put those messy details into writing. Just look at the timeline. Charges dropped in December, he was in court by February, and then fired in March. That sequence is impossible to ignore. However, the real drama started because, when the Patriots let him go, Diggs didn't stay silent. The same day the news broke, March 4, 2026, he hit Instagram stories with a simple message: "I appreciate you all for a hell of a season." He added that they were family forever and signed off with "until next time" next to his jersey number 8. That was the final curtain call. Naturally, the internet went absolutely feral the second those posts went live. Outlets like Raindrops Media One on X immediately painted the situation as a long overdue crash for the star receiver. They tallied the losses, the team, the Super Bowl legal issues, and friendships. That post blew up instantly. A follow-up the next day kept the flame alive, splitting the entire fan base into two warring sides immediately. One group shouted innocent until proven guilty. Patriots loyalists stood firm on the idea of due process. He hadn't seen a courtroom yet. There were no convictions or league suspensions handed down for now. He was still a free agent capable of signing with any team. The legal system needed to finish its job before the public could judge him.
I believe it was with a girlfriend where, he basically missed 11 games. And then after, he was cleared, his name was cleared, it ended up being kind of like a hoax type situation.
Everyone is watching how this shakes out because the Peppers case and the Diggs situation involve wildly different legal accusations. Those charges are worlds apart. Peppers only dealt with a single accusation. Diggs is staring down a felony and a formal criminal complaint from the state. Camp 2 hit back incredibly hard. Bills fans flooded X, calling it divine justice and labeling him a thug while bringing up the domestic violence claims from his chef. The schadenfreude was deafening. A post from Say Cheese detailing the chef's court filing racked up 1.5 million views and sparked a massive debate over whether he's a criminal or just a target for a quick payday grab. Then Cardi B jumped into the fray. She had been linked to Diggs all through 2025 as the noise intensified. Tabloids were buzzing about a secret pregnancy. When the paternity drama involving Ailen Lera went public, the Cardi B rumors caught absolute fire immediately. A viral video responding to the baby news exploded across social media, triggering massive reactions from fans on every single platform. Cameron even went viral with some jokes about being jealous of this entire situation. It was all in good fun, but it proved the story had completely consumed the entire culture cycle by then. Then Cardi B supposedly tried to back Diggs up, but the move blew up in her face almost immediately. Fans slammed her for allegedly leaking the accuser's name. By March 2026, the Christopher Blake Griffith civil case was back in the headlines once again. Tied to the Cardi B drama, a fresh wave of discourse regarding those sexual battery allegations started trending all over again. The Barb's Rebirth account on X posted the Griffith police report in mid-March, lighting a new fire under the talk.
I think a lot of people were saying the NFL typically waits until the legal situation is resolved in court and everything. So if they push it towards the end of March, this would be a next season situation.
Roger Goodell holds the ultimate hammer, allowing him to dump a player onto the paid exempt list and bar them from team facilities while investigators dig for dirt. Yet they gave Diggs a total pass. No suspension through the postseason, the championship game, or even after he stood before a judge in court. Critics are screaming double standards, citing Ezekiel Elliott's 2017 ban, despite no charges, proving the NFL just makes up the rules as they go along for certain stars. League headquarters remains radio silent, refusing to even confirm if there is an active probe currently looking into Diggs's disturbing legal mess. By mid-March 2026, he will hit the open market as a free agent, technically cleared to ink a massive contract with any team in football. Without a single fine or sanction, his new employer inherits a ticking time bomb. They are buying a superstar who has to walk into a felony pre-trial hearing on April 1st. 2026 is already clouded by ongoing lawsuits and zero courtroom dates, leaving everyone completely in the dark regarding how the Shield will eventually drop the hammer down. Look, any smart GM or head coach needs a deep cover source inside that organization who can dish the cold hard truth instead of the corporate spin. To be honest, it is a massive red flag for me. Why would you cut ties with a talent like that right now? They clearly know something we do not. Every front office in the country is sweating over the exact same riddle. Why on earth is a player this gifted actually hitting the streets? What kind of skeletons are hidden in their closet that have not leaked yet? Everyone is just waiting for the next shoe to drop in this saga. Diggs' entire empire, the 9-figure deals, the record-breaking stats, and that gritty recovery from a blown-out ACL is currently resting on a legal powder keg ready to explode. Let us break down the chaos as of March 15, 2026. He is staring down a felony strangulation charge and misdemeanor assault with a high-stakes pre-trial hearing looming on April 1st. There is no settlement and no court date yet. His legal team maintains his innocence, and he walked out of jail on his own word while being barred from contact. Mitchell Schuster is not budging, claiming his client is purely innocent and will be cleared of everything. However, let us get real about the gravity of these specific felony allegations. In Massachusetts, felony strangulation triggers strict domestic violence rules, even if the person involved was just on the payroll and not in a romantic relationship with the star athlete. This is not some minor scuffle. Strangulation is viewed as a terrifying escalation because it physically screams a desire to dominate, exert total control, or even end a person's life right then. Because of those lethal implications, the Commonwealth of Massachusetts treats this as a serious felony charge that stands far apart from a simple battery or assault. The defense strategy is focused entirely on nuking the victim's credibility, highlighting that she waited 14 days to call the cops and has almost zero physical proof. They are pointing out the lack of photos, the slight skin irritation, a messy money fight, and an NDA request to paint her as a fraud looking for a payday. His lawyer is spinning a narrative of a bitter worker who tried to shake him down, failed to get the cash, and ran to the precinct out of spite. Conversely, the DA is leaning on her rock-solid, incredibly detailed story. She has allegedly backed it all up with damning text messages and a pile of incriminating voicemail recordings. Her early hesitation does not hurt her case. Experts actually see that as a textbook reaction for someone being crushed under the thumb of a powerful, wealthy celebrity. More importantly, she only decided to call the cops after getting scary messages from people she thinks belong to Diggs's inner circle, which felt like blatant witness intimidation. It seemed like they knew she was talking to the law and tried to scare her off. April 1st will be the moment we see if this case crumbles. Shift over to the civil courts. The brawl involving Mia Jones and Brianna Mack is still burning in Texas. Diggs claims these women attacked him and smashed $130,000 worth of electronics. Beyond the broken watch and phone, he claims they pulled a weapon on him and tried to extort millions, threatening to end his entire career before the season even started. Jones fired back with her own lawsuit in April 2025, accusing the star of clocking her in the skull and forcing her to sign a gag order under duress. It is he said, she said with zero closure. Meanwhile, the messy legal war with Christopher Blake Griffith continues to rage as both the original assault claim and Diggs's defamation countersuit remain locked in combat. We also cannot ignore that Darez Diggs already took a no-contest plea for a felony assault charge connected to one of these same violent incidents. Griffith is throwing the book at Stefon, charging him with battery, a secret conspiracy, and mental torture, while the athlete claims every single word of it is a total lie. Then there is the Ferrari mess from February 2026. A massive lawsuit in Miami names Stefon, Trevon, and Darez as co-conspirators in a brutal assault and battery case that is still wide open. The victim in that Miami beatdown suffered a shredded ACL, a torn ligament, and major facial trauma during the alleged December 2025 ambush by the Diggs brothers. So far, Diggs's camp has not breathed a word about the Miami incident to the press, and the whole situation remains a giant question mark with zero legal progress. At least his child support battle with Ailen Lera reached the finish line in January 2026. They finally shook hands on a parenting plan, and the court officially tossed the case out. Here is the final tally: 1 felony, 3 civil lawsuits, a defamation case. He started a settled kid, a Super Bowl ring, and a pink slip from the Patriots. Still, the league has not touched him. That is the chaotic reality Diggs lives in today. Finding him a new home is a nightmare, because no coach wants to poison their locker room right before a deep playoff run. Have we not seen a massive shift in how these modern coaches view character risks compared to the old-school hardliners who used to run the league? Years ago, if you were even a whiff of a distraction, every general manager in the league would blacklist you and never look back at your tape. Nowadays, a fresh crop of ego-driven coaches think they are the ones who can finally tame the beast and succeed where every other organization failed. This new mindset is totally changing the game. Ms. will still gamble on guys with active warrants if the talent is elite. They will pull the trigger if they believe their veteran leaders can drown out the media circus and the chaos. It is not just about X's and O's or health, it is a cold-blooded math equation. You need a drill sergeant as a head coach and iron-fisted leadership on the roster to keep a guy like this in line. Executives have to look themselves in the mirror and decide if this person belongs in their family. Personally, I would not make a single move without getting the green light from my locker room leaders first. You want a piece of him. Everyone knows the name, everyone craves the talent. That's the frantic buzz echoing through every NFL front office right this very second. Any team brave enough to ink Diggs is buying the whole circus, the stats, the massive salary, and the volatile ego. That looming April 1st court appearance, a nasty felony triple civil lawsuits plus an instant league ban once the hammer drops. During 2025, he hauled in 82 receptions for 970 yards and 4 scores. He pulled those numbers while grinding through recovery from a brutal ACL tear suffered with the Texans. At 32, pushing 33, he fought back to elite form for a Super Bowl squad. The man simply refuses to let age or injury slow him down. That's a powerhouse case for his worth. Usually a wideout hitting those marks in a contract year would be swimming in offers. Except the clock ran out on that deal. Now any future contract, no matter the price, is haunted by a lingering felony charge that refuses to go away quietly in court. The league's conduct policy grants the commissioner massive power to bench players for behavior deemed hazardous, hostile, or threatening. Violence needs no conviction to trigger a ban. Fans screaming about the Ezekiel Elliott precedent are actually hitting the nail right on the head. Back in 2017, Elliott ate a 6-game suspension despite 0 criminal charges. The NFL moves with crushing force based on its own findings, completely ignoring whatever the local court system decides. If a jury convicts Diggs on felony strangulation, a massive league suspension becomes a total certainty. Even if he cuts a plea for a minor offense, the league will likely still bench him. If the charges vanish or he walks free, the NFL can still dig into the dirt and drop the hammer if their private investigation smells something foul. Sportico suggests the 2026 season is the soonest we see a suspension provided. This legal nightmare wraps up before the first whistle of summer training camp. The pre-trial kicks off April 1st. From there, the clock could spin or stall depending on legal chess moves. His lawyers will definitely try to drag this out forever. Prosecutors face their own crushing deadlines. Meanwhile, the league and the entire world are watching every single move closely. Ever since McAfee's crew leaked the charges in December 2025, this drama hasn't faded for even a second. Every hearing, every deleted post, every Cardi B chirp, and every single viral joke keeps it very alive. Every link to Trevon, every fresh legal filing, it all fuels a toxic news cycle that keeps Stefon Diggs' name trending in every digital algorithm. It's a brutal double-edged sword for his next team. The spotlight won't dim. It only gets brighter with every twist, and believe me, there are more twists coming. At its heart, this saga is the violent collision of insane athletic talent with an equally insane legal disaster. On paper, he is a superstar who earned a massive payday. Off the field, he is a liability, carrying more heavy legal baggage than any other player looking for work right now. That "goodbye forever" post on his stories was a shot at New England, but we have to wonder if it signals something much darker. Will this be the final curtain on his career, or just a brief pause before a fresh start? That answer is buried in a Massachusetts court on April 1st, 2026. And right now, absolutely no one can predict how this story ends.